Well, hello, and welcome. Okay, I already see some eyeballs here. Glad you are tuned in. And I am, let's see if I can find, this is my first time. This is my first time doing StreamYard. So I'm trying to figure out my way here. Say hello if you are in the chat. All right, here they are. Okay, happy Sunday to you, Diane. Yeah, this is cool. This is the first time. What's up, Robert? First time I've done StreamYard. So I'm hoping that we do a lot better and I don't get kicked off. Like when I go live via YouTube, I tend to get kicked off. So cool. Sir Jasper. Hello, good evening. It's evening where you are. And Merry Christmas to you, Marilyn. Hey, Bella. Ciao, Bella. Yes, Mary Freeman. Excellent. VVS. Yeah, VVS says, it's been a hectic week for sure. It is. I'm glad you're in the chat, Mike. All right. B. Forrester, hello from Chicago. Chicago is. And the Philippines. Always love having the Philippines in the house. So glad you're joined in. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Iowa's in the house. Richard, thank you. And wow from Fizz. Richard, welcome again. MV watching from Australia. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. And first time catching your live chat. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you did. I'm going now that I'm hooked up with StreamYard, I'll be able to plan them better. Couldn't never figure that out going through YouTube. So Kent is here. Appreciate that, Julie. I'll be part of the replay crew watching the Bills. All right. I'm doing there's gonna be a video tonight, so I want to share. It's gonna be a video tonight with several of the podcasters that I imagine you're familiar with, probably some of the channels you follow. We're gonna come together tonight. We're not doing it live though. And so at least I didn't plan on doing it live. But we are going to record that and get that out tonight. Pete, thank you for being here with the chat. Rosanna, Sherry, Texas in the house, Alaska in the house, Idaho in the house. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. I hope so too. From South Carolina, thank you. Red Jeep in Mom. You guys have the coolest, some of you have the coolest names that you use. All right, someone else from the Philippines. Hello, Ohio. While you're watching your Steelers. Yeah, I think I'm like messing up here because people are letting me know they're watching Sunday football. Hello, Dawn. Hello. Okay, marked safe from any drones for now. Oh my goodness, I'm sure that's trending, right? Wisconsin. Joseph, that's not necessary. We can just keep it. We can just keep it going. Like this is one of the reasons why I want to talk. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this. I'm not going to have this long because just in a couple hours, I'm going to be doing a recording, and I want to announce this. I'm going to be doing a recording with some of the people you probably follow. I'm not going to say who they are yet. Leave a little bit of mystery, but some of the people you may follow, whose content you may follow concerning Caitlin Clark and hi Andrew. And so we're going to get together. We're going to record. I'm going to get that out tonight. And that's my plan. And we're really going to talk about some of this stuff because it has been, wow, it has been quite a week. And, I guess there are people who, what's up, Scorpion? I think there are people who kind of take these things in stride because of the nature of what we're talking about this whole week. The seriousness of some of the issues, I take those kinds of things to heart because we really are talking about our society and our culture and what has played out. Now, here's what I wanted to say. I think, hey, Ken, I think that the Adrienne Ross show is a special place. And what I mean by that, of course, everybody feels that way probably about their platforms. But I've got, we're headed toward 43,000 subscribers. And not every one of those people, of course, is engaged in what we're doing, right? But there is a nucleus of people who are, I mean, you'll see them in the comments. They're always engaging. We do lives and people are in lives. I've created 2 book clubs. There's a whole community of people. And I don't know how many content creators look at their platforms that way, but that's the way it's become. I've had a channel for years in which I talk about all kinds of things. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Hello, Nina. But we really have built something here where Caitlin Clark is concerned. And I think it's a shame, honestly, if you read, I don't like the comment sections of some of the videos. They have become so, I mean, where did the time go when we could say, I don't agree with your take and keep it moving? But they become so, we're at the point now where, okay, let me give you an example. Some of you noticed this. I did a video last night. It mentioned Diana Taurasi. Yeah, toxicity is a good word. So it mentioned Diana Taurasi, and I said Diana Taurasi was right when she said reality is coming, but not what we expected and not what she intended. And the video was like, 13 minutes long? Like, as soon as I put it up, within like a few seconds, a minute, there were people who were like, why don't you like Caitlin Clark? Why don't you like her anymore? I disagree with you. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You didn't even watch the video yet. What are you talking about? And it was this whole thing about why you don't like Caitlin Clark. If you watch the video, the whole video was about how reality did come, but reality came to us. We thought we were coming into the league and we thought we were going to have a good time talking about basketball. And what we saw was some people who were acting like 18-year-olds. And so then some people are commenting on a video they never saw because of what's going on in their mind. They assumed, and I'm not talking about trolls. Actually, I'm talking about people who look at a title because their mind is so filled with nonsense. They assume the worst. One dude actually said, I'm unsubscribing, basically because you don't like Caitlin Clark, because he looked at a title, had no idea what he was talking about, blew up and left. And I just had to laugh. But I'm saying all that to say, well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. But it's almost funny because we are so wanting to be offended that even when there's no reason to be offended, we become offended and say, I'm out of here because you don't think just like me. Even though in the video, I was thinking just like him, but he didn't take the time to read. He didn't take the time to watch it. So I just kind of laugh. Because I think that the reason for that part of it is we want to be offended. And the other part is we live in a culture where we can't look beyond, like if there's any figurative language in it, if there's any sarcasm in it, people simply don't catch it anymore. Because we've lost the time when we used to read. We used to do creative reading. We lost the time when we would engage. We're just doing this all the time. This all the time. And it causes people to jump the gun. It's weird. It's really, really weird. Now, mind you, I spent a career teaching English. So I think in figurative language. I'm a writer. I think in creativity. It blows my mind that some people are so concrete that they totally miss it. Which is why, Dawn, the country is such a mess. Thank you, Russell. And the thing is, some people never found that out because they just assumed that I was trying to dog Caitlin Clark, which is so weird. And even if I was, you got to grow up. Guys, I'm about to do a video tonight with, like I said, if you just joined us, with Tina, I'm glad you're here. We're going to do a video tonight with some of the podcasters you're familiar with. And we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, I'm sure. And if you're going to get an attitude every time someone doesn't agree with you, you're going to have a problem. And you're certainly going to have a problem with me because I'm not going to kowtow to the opinions of other people. I always say this. Exactly, William. That's exactly, and I was thinking the same thing. Proverbs 18:13, a man who gives an answer before he hears it is a shame and folly for him. And I'll just use that in the King James Version. The King James Version says, a fool answers a matter before he hears it. And that's what I was totally thinking. There are people who are answering about the video, and it was absolutely nothing to do with what they were talking about. But they want to say, I want to be the first one to say, I disagree with you. So let me say I disagree with you. When in fact, you didn't disagree with me at all. You absolutely agreed with me. I agreed with you. And if you stayed around long enough, you'd have found out. Chris, thank you so much. All she had to do was love basketball and worked hard for everything I've gotten. Black women are capable and can uplift themselves. You don't give in to bullies. Okay, and that's something, that's your opinion. That's something that's not what I'm talking about right now, but I totally hear people, but people are entitled to what they want to say and not say. Nathan, there's no listening on one side or the other. I don't get it. I will admit that I've changed my perspective on things over the past year, but I struggle to find anyone else doing that. Interesting. Merry Christmas. All right. Michael says I'm a fool. Dang it. Michael, we've all been in that category before. For real. Right? For real. And so, Pete, let me just say this to you. Ain't nobody here making excuses. And your opinion is your opinion, but the period in your comment has to go because there's no period here, right? I'm going to discuss it. So this is what I'm saying. I totally respect the rights of anybody who says, I don't like what was said and I'm not going to watch. I mean, that's your right. I find that to be an extreme position, but I respect your right to make that decision. I'm not one of those people who says, well, then you must not have been a fan. I don't, that's not for me to decide. Everybody has their values and everyone's values are as important as everyone else's. But I am going to say this, if that's your perspective, no, I hear what you're saying, Pete, but I want you to hear what I'm saying too. I want you to hear it too, and I thank you for saying that, but I want you to hear what I'm saying too. Everyone has a right to perspective. What I don't want on the Adrienne Ross Show channel, while I respect people who say, I'm not watching, I'm done, I respect your right to do that, I don't want you then to come into the comments while we are talking about various things and totally co-opt the conversation. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm going to tolerate. Everybody is welcome here if you're respectful. Even if you say, I'm not watching, like you're still, my whole channel was not, I've had a channel for years. It's not totally around Caitlin Clark, but that is a huge part. That has become a huge part of the culture. Thank you. Oh, so positive. That's become a huge part of the culture. And if you don't want to watch her, and if you don't support her, and if you're disappointed in her, or whatever the case may be, you have every right to be that way. But what I don't want is for you to then say, every video Adrienne puts up, I'm going to come out there and I'm just going to blast everybody. And I'm going to continue to talk about the same thing over and over again. If you don't want to be a part of it, then you're free to do that and just go, just go chill, right? That's fine. But there are lots of people who may not agree with her, but they like her skills of basketball. They're extending grace, whatever the case may be, and they're here. And there's a right to that too. And there are people who 100% agree with her, and they have a right to be here too. But sports are a microcosm of society, and we are seeing it play out in real time. It blows my mind. Seriously, listen to me. It blows my mind that in 2024, we're having some of the conversations we're having. Whether it's the Time magazine, and the Time magazine had a bit. They had an agenda, no doubt. Whether it's Time magazine, whether it's Timmy Fagbenley's comments, and she just made some new comments, whatever the perspective is, this is 2024. Why do I feel like this is the 1960s? I mean, I feel like this is the 1960s. Like we're going to relive slavery. We're going to relive the Jim Crow. We're going to relive all this stuff. It's just, I really think, I'm going to just say it. I really think that there's a whole agenda to paint Caitlin Clark's fan base a certain way. And all these people there are lots of people in the media. They're really, if you're paying attention to the media, they're really excited right now because they feel that Caitlin Clark put her fans in their place. And they like that. So they're going to love it. I don't know if the league's going to treat her any better, but the media will. Because they feel like she put the kibosh on her fans. And I've seen some comments out there. So there is an agenda. And I have a feeling that the election we just had, some people are disappointed with the election. I'm not one of them, just saying. But there are some people who've bought into the whole race baiting, everyone's a racist issue. And they didn't win because the American people rejected it. The American people rejected the race baiting, and they said there's more to me than the color of my skin, and you're not going to trick and fool me and cause me to try to vote a certain way based on race. I'm not doing it because black, white, or otherwise, everybody got to pay the rent and the mortgage. And we want to know what's the economy going to be like? We want to know where are the jobs? And that's black, white, Asian, Filipino, everybody. But that's a game that they play on the emotions of people. It did not work. And now they've turned their attention to doing the whole thing with the Caitlin Clark situation. They haven't gotten the message yet. And we have got to not buy into it. We're fighting. This is a basketball player who's 22 years old, who's been to an institution of higher learning, which can be anything but higher learning. It's the grace of God if you can go into certain institutions and come out unwoke. It's a hard thing to do. That's the culture we're living in. But in addition to that, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Every person. And though we use terms like Andrew just said, Timmy has let me down. Seems like even though we say that, even though some people say, I feel disappointed in Caitlin Clark, let me tell you, if you've not been paying attention, let me tell you how they're spinning that out there in the media. They're spinning that to say her fans are racist. She disowned racism. So now they're upset with her. That's how they're spinning it. They're all a bunch of racists. And now that Caitlin Clark has revealed herself not to be a racist, they say, as if they should have been thinking she was anyway. Now that's why they think you guys are upset. That's why they think you're like, oh, I'm not following her anymore. And they can think whatever they want to think. That's not what I'm saying. They can think absolutely whatever they want to think. I would love to hear somebody say, listen, those are not the vast majority of my fans. The vast majority of my fans are doing things like this right now. The people I communicate with on a regular basis on the Adrienne Ross show, I refuse to say, oh yeah, they're just all racist. We're not going to accept that mantle. But that's the picture they're painting. And they're only doing it with Caitlin Clark. They could not beat her on the court in the sense that they wanted her to come into the league and flop. They wanted her to be a big dud. They wanted her to be the hype. But when she turned out to be the real deal, they had nothing else left. After they tried to beat her up, knock her to the floor, which she denied, that felt like a punch in the gut, to be honest with you. But she could just be young and naive. In any case, they wanted to beat her in that way, but they couldn't and she remained classy. And that really gets you. That's why the Bible says a soft answer turns away wrath, because people expect that when they're coming at you, that they got your goat by making you respond in kind. And she never did. She was classy. And what do they have left? Because they can't get her, then who do they come after? They come after her fans. They come after and say, those are the kinds of people she attracts. And honestly, we've had nobody to straight out come out and say, that's not true. While I don't endorse anybody using my name for racism, whatever, I understand that that is not the bulk of my fans. Nobody has said that. And that's pretty bad, I think. She's 22 years old and she's young and she's entitled to her thoughts. Now, if that means that you can't watch her play basketball, I totally say that's your right. I'm not going to say you weren't a real fan. I'm just going to say, you know what matters to you and you have the right to abide by that. What you should not do is then go and troll the other people who continue to support her, co-opt every conversation to bash her. Like, if you're done, you're done. And if you're not done, then let's just keep it rolling. We're going to talk about it, though, because this is where sports and culture connect. Now, I've had several people say, enough of it. Don't talk about it. Absolutely not. And let's be real. If this were Angel Reese, who says some stuff, nobody would be saying, don't talk about it. We would be putting it on full blast. Caitlin Clark is the athlete of the year. She's one of Forbes 100 most powerful people in the world, and they're 30 under 30. If I came out here and never mentioned anything that's been going on this week, I would be a complete hypocrite, and I need to close up shop. This is where sports and culture connect. Now, for those of you who are disappointed in Caitlin, you've got to ask yourself a question. What were you expecting from this young woman that now you are so disappointed that you can't get over it? What was your expectation? I mean, that's the question. What was your expectation? And if you don't know her personally, if you don't know her, should you really have put that kind of expectation on her? I'm just saying. And you still got the people who refuse to believe that it was Caitlin who said these things. Why? Now, there may be some reasons why she feels this way at this time. I'm going to tell you right now, the WNBA has a culture that it takes someone special to survive through. Kathy, as far as her boyfriend, though, we do become, the Bible says, I'm telling you scripture, the Bible says evil communication corrupts good manners. So in other words, what you allow into your spirit, into your space, does tend to have an effect on you. So, I mean, there's something to be said for who you're listening to. I'm very, very careful personally about what I listen to. I'm very careful about the movies I go see. I don't want some of those things in my head, in my spirit. I just don't. So some people do say that if you look at her boyfriend's social media, he's woke, blah, blah, blah. I don't follow her boyfriend on social media, so I don't know. But that's the word on the street. So if there's that, and you got Taylor Swift in this, and you've got that whole thing, and you just graduated from an institution in this country right now, God bless the person who can come out of there unscathed. But the Bible also says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. And there are times when we find ourselves thinking certain ways because of the people around us. And then we come back to home and we realize this ain't working. Right? And then some people double down. Either way, free country. And so as far as I'm concerned, like I said, if you're just joining us, I'm doing a video tonight and putting it up later tonight with some of the people you probably follow on YouTube. So we'll do a panel, and some you may meet some new people. There'll be, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us, something like that. So for me, if you take a stand that I don't necessarily agree with, I'm okay. But I'm not going to hear it every day. Like I'm not gonna. This is what I'm saying about some people who say I'm just out of it. I'm just gone. And I'm like, well, I mean, she made a comment like twice. I can show grace. But if every time you play a basketball game and then they start asking you woke questions and you give woke answers, I'm not doing. I'm not gonna do that. You know. So, but once or twice you made a comment, you know, I don't like it. But someone said, what time? Let me get back to Andrew's comments in a moment. Someone said, what time tonight? Well, we're recording in about 2 hours, an hour and a half, but then I got to put it up and all that. So it'll be later tonight. Okay, so Andrew, is it you? I expect Andrew, it says show. This is my first time doing this on StreamYard, so I'm learning some things here. Let me see if I hit show. That's how you do it. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. You're never too old to learn, right? Good question, Miss Adrienne. I expect her to be proud of her work and efforts. If she acknowledged the blacks in the sport about the white, didn't they contribute anything? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. But as far as I expect her to be proud of her work efforts, I'm going to say I believe she is. I got that impression that she is. I expected her, if she acknowledges the blacks in the sport above the whites. I'm not sure if I know exactly what you mean. And I also don't know how to get rid of this comment. Oh, there it is. Yay, I did it. Yeah, I don't expect 22-year-old to answer questions. What is going to work? Well, she's 22, she's young, her worldview. At the same time, I mean, she takes responsibility, you know, takes responsibility for what she said. So, okay. So what's more disappointing is how few WNBA pros came out against the Mystics co-owners' comments. That's very good, Angela. One of the things I thought was cool, Lexi Brown did come out and did the video last night, and she was just like, this is actually ridiculous. I still leave my prediction up there that Sheila Johnson will apologize or at least clarify her comments. She didn't do it yesterday. Maybe Monday's the day. I don't know, but I expect that the pressure is there and that she will apologize for that because it was just uncalled for. It really, it's again the race baiting. And that's why I say, are we in the 60s? Is this slavery? Like, well, the black people aren't getting the shine that they're supposed to get. Like, here's the thing I also don't understand, in all honesty. To this day, if you ask almost anybody in the WNBA, players, black players even, who the GOAT is, you guys put in the comments. The question is, who's the GOAT in the WNBA? I'm not talking about Caitlin. Caitlin's off the table, right? She just had her year. Who do people tend to say is the GOAT in the WNBA? Anybody? Nobody? Thank you, Tony. God bless you too. Most people say Diana Taurasi is the GOAT. I don't agree. I mean, I'm always going to, right now, I'm Cynthia Cooper all the way from in the early days. Most people will talk about Diana Taurasi. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. This is what I don't understand. This is why I don't understand why people act like no white players have ever been in the league and that no white players could have taken the league to the level that Caitlin Clark has. Diana Taurasi's in the league. Sabrina Ionescu's in the league. Kelsey Plum is in the league. Breonna Stewart's in the league. You had Elena Deladon in the league. You've had white players. Yeah, Rebecca Lobo. The league was not started with just black people in mind. The first signers of the WNBA were Cheryl Swoops, and Rebecca Lobo. Those were the people whom they said, we're going to rock with these people. Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo. Now we're all pretending that no black play or white players have done anything in the WNBA. So now in the year 2024, you still see coaches wearing shirts like Black Girls Rock and all this other stuff. And frankly, to be honest with you, and I'll probably get into some of this stuff tonight when I'm with the other podcasters, frankly, I find it a bit insulting, even though it's well-meaning, when someone says, I'm going to now start to elevate you. To me, it's a bit demeaning, though it's not intended to be. I'm going to start elevating you because you obviously can't do it for yourself. I just don't understand where we are right now. Let's all just play basketball. Let's all represent the league well. Let's just, I don't know, but I know this, that people are using this to make a certain group of people look bad, look like racists, and then turn. They're sitting back. You ever heard of divide and conquer? There are people who are getting on these threads, going to these videos and stuff, and they're just sitting back and they're just watching while people devour one another. And they're going on their own channels and their own things, and they're like, oh, Caitlin Clark's racist fans have turned against one another, and the black ones, oh my goodness, the Uncle Toms and the Aunt Jemimas and whatever else, Coons and whatever else name they call us, yeah, they're in on it too. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, while you guys are ticked off, disappointed, let down, and going after one another, Caitlin Clark's at a basketball game having a good time. The 22-year-old seems to have it more together. So anyway, I said what I said. Do yourselves a favor on the Adrienne Ross show. If you're going to respond, make a comment, watch the video. I often use figurative language. I often use sarcasm. You cannot, the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. You can't just look at a title and just assume you know what I said. You never know. I'm quite creative. So you just don't know. So don't embarrass yourself. You don't have to be the first one to make a comment. You could actually know what you're commenting on. It's just so important. You don't have to look to be offended all the time. There are people who come in the comments all the time, and all they do is look to lift up people. They just say, good evening. Hey, hello from the Philippines. They uplift other people. And other people, I've seen other people make just innocuous comments, just harmless comments. Somebody else to jump on. What the F are you talking about? I'm like, oh my goodness, you've been in the basement too long? Like you totally don't know how to communicate with people? Somebody asked the question, just answer the question. Just say you don't agree. Why are you cussing folks out and all the nonsense? So if you're going to look at the title, same thing with an article that I've written, a headline, if you read my writing, and then comment after you know what you're talking about. And then also, if you're going to be in the comments and stuff, you don't have to blast everybody. If you're done with Caitlin Clark, you have every right to do that. And I will defend from here to wherever, even though I find that to be like, wow, I will defend your right to do that. But don't then try to ruin it for everybody else. I know I'm just kind of talking and people are going to take what I say with a grain of sand, I guess. But I'm trying to figure out these comments. I'm new to StreamYard, but I kind of like it. I'm gonna get the hang of it. So anyway, yeah, I gotta go, right? Because in an hour and a half, I'm gonna be meeting with some of these podcasters, YouTube channel folks, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. I have a feeling it's probably gonna, I feel it's gonna be a doozy. I'll put it that way. I feel like it's gonna be a doozy. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I totally appreciate you. And the reason why I said the Caitlin Clark effect, like what a week, because we always look at the Caitlin Clark effect as just watch how she improves other players, watch how she brings in fans and eyeballs, the TV viewership, the in-person viewership. Look at the sales of jerseys. Look at everybody going, where's the Nike shoe? When she plays in a city, the people come in, they spend money in the city, so she impacts the economy of the city. We talk about all this stuff about the Caitlin Clark effect, but the Caitlin Clark effect also is the reason why we're having the week we're having. Thank you, Kevin. The reason we're having the week we're having that we had, that too is the Caitlin Clark effect. You got the highs and you got the lows, but we got to keep it in perspective. All right. Yeah, I hear you, Kathy. Okay. StreamYard allows commercials to override stream. Yeah, that's YouTube too. That's how it works. That's part of revenue. All right. Love you guys too. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, all of you. So be looking for a video tonight. I have a feeling we're going to get deep. Video is probably going to be about an hour, I imagine. And so it's not going to be a live. At least I don't think it's going to be a live. I think we're going to record it. And then you can check it out. So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you all. I still think the Adrienne Ross Show, I think this is a special place. I really do. So ciao, Bella. All right. God bless you guys. God bless you abundantly. All right. See you soon. God willing.